Fans of Itoshi Rin and Sai can both rest easy tonight, because not only is Rin fully locked in now, Itoshi Sai actually makes a brief appearance in this chapter after 1,000 or something days. What's going on, everybody? My name is Animasu, and today I'm going to be overviewing Blue Lock chapter 269 for you all, titled Break. If you enjoy the content I push out or just like to stay up to date with Blue Lock, please feel free to support the channel by clicking that subscribe button, commenting below your thoughts, and even join the community Discord down in the description. Without further ado, let's get right into the NEL's first official matchup of Isagi yoichi and Itoshi Rin. Today's chapter starts us off as usual with intro text which tells us to keep our eyes peeled as the Blue Lock current number 1 and 2 go head to head. We of course visually pick back up on the matchup between Rin and Isagi, as one maintains possession with metavision and the other sprints forward relentlessly with crystal clear flow eyes. As we move on to page 2, Nanase and Rin are seen both attempting to step in and gain possession, but are met with Isagi just backheeling a pass to his wingback Corona. BM Sharkboy of course gains the full attention of Rin as he now has possession, however screaming out to Isagi, he then passes right on back for a 1-2. With one defender focused on Corona and the other two weak, Isagi yoichi breaks on through and is seen running far ahead of both of them now. Itoshi Rin finally turns around while realizing their plan, however Isagi is already trapping the ball and landing back down, repeating the word direct twice to mimic Corona. Honestly, this is hands down my favorite part of the chapter, because Isagi, Corona, and Hiyori are just my favorite trio of characters to see interacting. Hiyori and Shidou's interactions in the Blue Lock mobile game are also pretty interesting, so drop a comment below if you guys want me to make videos on it. Anyways, with Isagi reactivating his metavision and bidding farewell to Itoshi Rin, he then begins to monologue about how he's completely grasped all of Rin's movements. With us then getting a visual representation via the classic Blue Lock chibis, Isagi of course is aware that right now, the entire field is revolving around him. On the PXG side of things, Shidou is being completely clamped down by Kunigami, which pretty much renders Karasu and Zantetsu's combos useless. Itoshi Rin and his system however do remain a threat, but Isagi is confident that all is fine if he can just continue to bypass as he did. The only other remaining issue is Charles Chevalier and his impish, unpredictable movements. However, with Isagi also keeping an eye on him, PXG's attack patterns are completely destroyed. Looking behind him towards a familiar face, Isagi monologues that the only other player who is even capable of scoring right now is the Emperor Michael Kaiser. Although he more than likely won't bust out another Kaiser Impact Magnus goal, he still is constantly putting himself in positions where he can score if given the ball. This forces PXG's defense to still be wary of him while also focusing on Isagi, making it nearly impossible to contain and track them both. As we see the dual aces running while both leaking out their respective puzzle and thorn auras, Isagi says that if they go all in to stop him, then Kaiser is open and will obviously score. On the other hand, if PXG fully focuses on Kaiser, then Isagi will score and close out the game. In this amazing spread of them both looking more focused than ever, Isagi notes that right now, Basher Munich is the team burning brightest and evolving to even greater heights. The next page however changes to the perspective of Itoshi Rin, who we see biting his lip and looking enraged. His Destroyer aura is once again beginning to form as he assures Isagi that this game is not yet over. As he thinks back on all the accumulation of value in the NEL and his goals scored, he's unable to deny that he's grown technically as a player since the U20 match. Technical isn't what he needs more of though, as with us seeing a heart haunted by demons and monsters, Itoshi Rin says that what he needed most was this mental pressure that he's currently under. As he sprints forward with his aura darkening and monsters multiplying, shadow apparitions of Sai and Isagi appear behind him, as he refers to them as players who bring him torment and suffering. One stronger than everybody, who righteously stands in my way, the ultimate egoist. Itoshi Rin finally admits that the urge to destroy this sort of egoist is what triggers him to enter the berserker state, and gain the bloodlust to destroy everything. We see monsters rushing forward behind him in the air and also burrowing up from the ground. With his eyes glowing clear indicating his immersion into the flow state, Rin once again is feeling the required hatred to enter that destructive form. The perspective then once again changes back to Isagi however, who assures himself that this is his game, not Itoshi Rin's nor Kaiser's. In his mind, if he can't finish in first place after all that hard work, if he can't score in this situation, then all of it would have been for nothing. Then coming to a full stop with a defender at his front and Kaiser at his back, Isagi begins to think of a way to win while also keeping Kaiser shut down. Suddenly turning his head while disintegrating into puzzle pieces, Isagi suddenly dashes towards Kaiser in order to destroy the Emperor's top performance. Both Kaiser and Karasu are turning their heads in confusion too, while Isagi just runs forward with his eyes widened out. Even Hiyori and Nanase are shown to be absolutely shocked, because why in God's name would he make such a rash decision now? Isagi explains it all on the next page though, as we see everyone circling around both he and the Emperor. Since Kaiser wants to lurk within his shadows and take advantage of Isagi's blind spots, he'll just in turn make a run which forces PXG's attention on both he and the Emperor. Kaiser obviously is absolutely enraged by this, as Isagi continues on to admit that from an individual standpoint, Kaiser absolutely still outclasses him. Chaining the ball from him to Hiyori and then Corona, Isagi continues on to say that his big advantage though, is that he has the support of his close friends. As the Emperor looks around at himself being surrounded by Isagi and his goons, Yoichi then goes on to taunt him by saying that he's all alone and powerless within this cage he's created. As the two make eye contact, he urges the Emperor to show him what he'll do now as Kaiser begins to sprint away, breaking apart the puzzle bubble. Bingo. Isagi then immediately just rushes in pursuit of Michael Kaiser, sharpening his gaze while monologuing how he's fallen right into his trap. With Karasu and Tokumitsu attempting to adjust, Isagi says that now since Kaiser has made the first move, PXG's defense will now have no other choice but to deal with the Emperor first. Isagi has basically now forced him to swap into the front striker position, as he himself has stolen away the shadows and will lurk within them for this run. The next page then shows the dual strikers breaking off into different directions, as this was all just a build up to kickstart Isagi Yoshi's freedom. They both even have the black reflexive eyes, and with PXG's defense being left in the dust, Corona screams out for Isagi to prepare for a pass. "I figured you'd do that," Isagi's braided run. Just before Corona could make the pass though, Rin comes charging in with a Doberman press, completely knocking our poor Shark Boy into the air and off balance. With Corona then crashing into the ground as Rin snatches up possession, Isagi Yoichi can be seen in the bottom left here, using his metavision to analyze the situation. With puzzle pieces in the air, he somehow is already breaking down Berserker Rin, and points out that just like Michael Kaiser, Rin is now evolving from feeding off of his restriction. Just as he once turned Barou's darkness into light, Rin is now aiming to turn his controlled field into a monster-infested ocean. The final page of today's chapter shows Rin fully locked in, and with his tongue even hanging out, I think it's safe to say that we'll be seeing those spiral eyes once again soon. As usual, we do have outro text to close us out which says, "Feeding off the restriction and suffering Isagi is brought upon him, the Berserker evolves to a whole other level. As he prepares to strike back, can anyone stop this monster, as his hunger and ego grows even stronger?" Although the outro text does say Rin has evolved and his hunger is growing, I personally believe that his obsession is actually limiting his true potential. Sadly, we don't have a title for next week's chapter though, as we'll be going on a break, so in the meantime, make sure to drop your theories and comments down below as I'll be cranking out videos for you guys. Anyways, before I end today's video, I just want to thank you all so much for supporting the channel. If you enjoy staying up to date with Blue Lock or enjoy the content I push out, please support the channel by clicking that subscribe button, commenting below your thoughts, and also feel free to join my community Discord so you can interact with me directly. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video, where we'll be discussing the upcoming rampage of Itoshi Rin, Isagi's duel, and basically everything revolving the next chapter's predictions. Once again, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you all have an amazing rest of your days.